The last time when you
Yeah,
came in,
yeah,
I told you how it seems like this rivalry kind of
yeah. Right,
situation
between the two
between
towns. Yeah,
Long
yeah. Mm.
and Ilkeston, and I kind of understand from my little studies since I have been here that Longitin is, rooted to this lace kind of thing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
Ilkeston is steep hill
yeah,
deep into like
yeah,
old mining
yeah,
town.
yeah.
So, and I'm taking it that if you can tell my audience who you are, how long you've been a journalist, and actually what were you part of Ilkeston? Were you born in
No,
Ilkeston
I
or?
was born in Luton in Bedfordshire,
Oh, right.
and I got a job as a reporter in 1968 and came up here.
Wow.
Got a job on the Nottingham paper, and before I started, they immediately sent me to Ilkeston, and I've been here ever since. So it's 50 something years.
All right.
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
was your experience when you first came to Ilkeston? Was it a very welcoming experience or?
No, I think people regarded me as some sort of lazy southerner, really, and
Good
didn't think I
man.
fitted in, and soft southerner is what people used to say to me
All
quite a
right.
lot. Yeah, yeah.
So how did you manage to navigate your way into being an accepted journalist? Because everywhere we went, people always, Rod Mark, oh, quite a famous guy, quite
Don't know about
popular.
that. But I don't know. You quite ask the right questions of people and treat everybody with respect and good manners and hope that works, really.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
once told me about this Ilkeston and Longyearbyen merging together. How did that happen? And I mean, what actually prompted that, and what was the reason behind it in the first place?
Well, when I came in 1968, Ilkeston had a town council. So it was Ilkeston, Coppenay, and Kirkhallam made Ilkeston Town Council. And believe it or not, it was controlled by the Liberals. This
Amazing.
was, yeah, astonishing, wasn't it? And there were a few Conservatives, not many,
Mhm.
and there are a few, and then the second largest party was Labour, but the Liberals were the controlling group. That was in 1968, and then in about 1970, the government decided it wanted to reorganise local government,
Mhm.
and the principle was that they wanted a local council to be of a population of about 100,000.
Mhm.
Now at the time, Ilkeston Ilkeston Borough Council would be about 35,000. It's gone down since, but it was about 35,000. So Lord Redcliffe Maud um, was the man who was called in to come up with an idea,
Mm.
and basically he sent people out all over the country to work out areas where you could have a council of about 100,000. And the other thing they wanted was they didn't want areas which were one big city or a lot of countryside. They wanted a mix of everything. Um, so in a sense, that's what we got in Erewash. We've got Ilkeston and Long Eaton.
Mm.
We've got Sandy Acre, which has got a parish council, and of course we've got 13 villages. So that's what makes up Erewash. But the other complication was that the government said we don't want to change county boundaries. Because I remember at the time speaking talking to people, they said, well, the logical thing is to have Ilkeston, Hena, which were two very similar towns
Mm.
in their outlook, really, in their background. Eastwood and Kimberley are like a square. But because you couldn't cross county boundaries, that was ruled out. So you ended up with what we've got.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh, it's really amazing. But it's just now with devolution coming up, it's singing in everybody's ears,
Yes.
Do you think that, going along this path or this route would actually cause more damage owing to the fact that, Longitin do not like
Yeah.
Ilkeston
No.
do not like. So don't you think it's going to cause more problem in
It,
the
it it's a potentially difficult team because people tend to know, or you can find your local councillor because you hear about it. He or she may live in the next street.
Mhm.
And now we're going to have we've got the East Midlands mayor.
Mm.
Um, what sort of powers does she have? I mean, she's sort of very broad powers. But when you get something like somebody wants to build 100 houses off Derby Road at Ilkeston, which was featured in Ilkeston Life's last edition.
Yeah.
Who's going to make that decision, and who people who are concerned about it or in favour of it, who are they going to express their views to? I mean, there is an argument that you need local councillors to be locally accountable and to make that sort of decision. So it's difficult, really.
Which is the way it should be, really, though, isn't it? But centralising the power or pushing the power into a central unit, I don't see how. Personally, I don't see how that is going to be.
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Whether they would end up with something like a regional planning board or something like that, maybe that would be it. But it's difficult to know whether they're trying to. There's a suggestion that they're trying to save money by cutting down on local democracy.
Is that what it is?
Well, it often is, isn't it? And of course, then you get onto the question about what price democracy, really. I mean, we need to know who's making the decisions, don't we? Really?
So since we've distributed the newspaper on, with the article on devolution on page 4, we've had few reports or letters coming in that I don't care what they do as long as I remain in Derbyshire.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. When I read about a few of them, I said, "Whoa,
Yeah.
well, you need to tell the council that, or the
You do.
central government.
You do. You do.
Nothing to do with me."
No. No. I mean, but at Long Eden's interesting because Long Eden's postal address is Long Eden, Nottingham for
Yes,
some people.
Nottingham, yeah.
So that's a bit complicated. And
Well, they can just go back to Nottingham then.
yeah, absolutely. And of course, I suppose there are younger people who move into Long Eden. Of course, housing may be cheaper. I'm not sure, but housing may be slightly cheaper over there. And they move into Long Eaton, but they commute to Nottingham because obviously there's a train station at Sawley.
Yeah.
You're not far from the motorway. So
And there's a tram as well.
and there's a tram.
It makes life a lot more
Yeah,
easier and quicker for people to commute through,
Yeah, I mean one of the
to town.
responsibilities of the mayor is major transport schemes. So you've got as you say, the Nottingham tram. I mean, if that extended up to it extends to Beeston, so it's not too far from Long Eden already. So it'd be interesting to see.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so what would you advise our readers, with this devolution and all the stuff, money, when people are thinking that Long Eaton is getting more than Ilkeston, and Ilkeston is thinking that, what would you advise our readers?
Well, I should advise them to learn as much about it as they can.
Oh, right.
But it's a complicated thing, and people don't really think it's very interesting, but it can be interesting, and it's important really because it's who represents you. I mean, we have an Erewash MP covers the area, and we need to keep it fairly simple. I mean, people can contact him, and then of course we've got the East Midlands mayor.
Yeah. But we've never seen her though.
No. But so yeah, I think people should.
I don't think anybody know. A lot of people know much about the mayor now, isn't it? The East Midland mayor.
No,
said, isn't it?
no.
What's her name again? No.
Claire Ward.
Claire Ward. Yeah.
Yeah, Claire Ward. Yeah, she was a former MP, and now she was out of Parliament for a little while. Now she come back to be MP. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got them. We've got police commissioner.
Oh yeah.
Which gets elected.
Yes.
That's for the whole county.
Nichols.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So there's a lot of things, and also there's the complication of health authorities. I mean, if you take the health authority for this area, I mean that takes in Burton-on-Trent hospitals as well. So whether you're going to want to coordinate, so every area has one health authority, one mayor, and they do everything. That'd be interesting to see. Yes. Certainly, I think they should do. I mean, we try to concentrate on local affairs. And, yes. I mean, nobody gets more coverage of the local council than Ilkeston Life readers, really.
Yes.
Yes. And the things that the people are interested in details. I mean, if I write a story about somebody wanting conservatory built at the back of their house. People are quite interested in that. If they live on that street, you know, these things are important. But so if it wasn't for Ilkeston Life, those things would not be reported.
Yes.
Because the bigger papers think, well, it's Long Eaton, it's Ilkeston, it's a bit on the fringes for us. Because they're important to the person who lives on the street, aren't they? Yeah, and that's how local newspapers used to thrive on that sort of thing.
Well, this is all I have for you for today. We were thinking that could have expanded the conversation, but unfortunately they didn't come up. So, well, this is what we have for today.
We'll have to do it again sometime with them here.
Yeah.
I'll pop around again.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Thank you, Rod, for
Pleasure.
coming in, and thank you for the panel. Yeah, thank you.